Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us once again on the latest edition of our in-depth teaser video right here on the Global Underwater Explorers YouTube channel with me, Nicolero, and over to my side, right here, we have the rock star, Mr. Michael Menduno.
Good morning, Nico. How you doing?
Good afternoon and good evening, Michael. Gotta love that time difference. How have you been?
That's right. I've been good. Yep. Recovered from a mild case of COVID. I mean, I'm vaxxed, I'm boosted, and Omicron came knocking at the door, and there I was. So, but I'm over it now, feeling good.
You would really think that with these names, they could pick something a bit less terrifying, right? I mean, what's the next one? The next one is going to be called, it's the Megatron variant. Like,
Megatron. Right.
Oh I'm glad you've recovered. It's a new year. You've got some new dive stories, I imagine.
We do indeed. Some fun ones. But first I want to start with a couple questions.
Okay.
What would you say are the as we do, what would you say are the top 3 risk factors in diving incidents?
Human error, poor planning, which I guess is kind of human error anyway, unfamiliarity with equipment or unfamiliarity with environment.
All good guesses, but not the one I was looking for. Let me try it a different way. What is a frightening, potentially dangerous event that probably a majority of scuba divers have experienced at one point or the other?
Running out of gas.
Yeah, well, that is certainly frightening and potentially good, but that's not the one I'm looking for.
Buddy separation.
That also qualifies under that, but that's not the right one, and it's not getting bit by a shark either. So
see, you actually annoyingly just took the words out of my mouth there. I was going to say for all the non-divers, bit by a shark.
Right. Actually, one of our news items, link items, is that shark bites are on the rise. Though I don't think that's
from
so much
3 to 5? From 3 to 5, call the National Guard.
Well, they're more certainly, and this is looking globally. Actually, they're on the rise. So
sure, there's more people.
The lockdown, yeah, there's more people. Yeah, right. So anyway. But let's dive into the issue. We have some exciting stuff, actually. We'll come back to those questions at the end, as we normally do. Yes. But this issue we are devoting to an extraordinary person in our community. We're celebrating Wes Skiles. Wes, for those who don't know, was a pioneering cave diver, explorer, conservationist. Underwater, maybe one of the world's great underwater cinematographers and photographers. He died in 2010 in a tragic rebreather accident while he was on assignment for Nat Geo. And we're basically going to talk about him and celebrate him and his work. Wes was really kind of involved in 3 areas. Again, the development of cave diving. He ran the Branford Dive Center for a while. He was a manager at Ginny Springs, and he was the training director for the cave diving section, the National Geological Society cave diving section, for a number of years in the 80s and helped develop things. He was very involved in spring conservation, the Florida Springs. One of his works, PBS special, a 4-part documentary series called Water's Journey that he worked on with Joe Heinert. And then he also had a number of stories in National Geographic on the Springs, on the Yucatan, etc. And worked with Bill Stone. He's photographed all the Wakulla and Watla expeditions, etc. And so we are celebrating him. We have a package of stories, starting out with a long-form interview that Fred Garth from Scuba Times did in 2002 called Wes Skiles, Cave Dweller. We have a long excerpt of Wes as a child from Julie Hauserman's book, Drawn to the Deep, the underwater explorations of Wes Skiles. Jill Heinert has weighed in with a piece. Emery Christoph, retired deep sea photographer from Nat Geo. Todd Kincaid, Project Baseline, who had worked with Wes on water conservation in Florida. So it's, yeah, and then we have a series of his articles and films. You will actually be able to stream all of his films, including Nullarbor Dreaming, where 15, this is the movie that, documentary that inspired James Cameron's Sanctum. It was 15 divers, cave divers in Australia who got trapped in a flooded cave and almost died. Heroin escape. So anyway, people will be able to watch all of those. And yeah, so that is our lead for this month. We're excited about it.
Yeah. So in short, the man is a god, like when it comes to diving, literally a god. Calling him diving royalty would not be paying him his dues. The links to all of his works that Michael just mentioned are in the description below, so you can go down there, have a look. And while you're down there, please do hit the subscribe button, like the video, and share it. Michael, next story, please.
Yep. Next story. How does one begin? We talk a lot about exploration. It's something that drives us, certainly as tech divers, and I would even say recreational divers, in a way, being able to touch the wilderness. But how does one become an explorer, right?
All of my life I have searched for a land like this one.
I mean, there's not like a career path from breathing on your regulator for the first year, open water cert, to, okay, now you're a certified explorer. And this is a question that has been nagging Guy Shockey, dive educator, innovator. He's a GUE instructor trainer, Guy Shockey in Vancouver. And he's been pondering this for about the last 10 years. Like, how do you become an explorer? People come to him and say, how do I get involved in exploration projects? What do I need? So Guy ended up creating a course. He's working with the Archaeological Society of British Columbia and created a course called Underwater Archaeology and Exploration. Nice. It's a course set for all divers, not just tech divers. And he did his first class in December, kind of the beta version. He had 4 recreational divers and a technical diver. And they did this class. And then the article, we also have the article then from the students talking about what they learned, which is basically diving skills, scientific diving skills, data collection, surveying, etc., and then communication skills. You got to bring back the data. The difference between exploration and adventure is data. And so as an explorer, you need to bring back the data. And so anyway, it's a really interesting story, and Guy's a real innovator. And so I think people will find it interesting and maybe inspirational to create something on their own. So
Guy who also recently did how to pick the right pair of dry suit gloves for our tips and tricks video on the channel. The link to that above, guys, if you want to check it out.
And he would know, because it's cold up in Vancouver. It's cold diving up in Vancouver Island. Yeah. So, and then we have a trip report from another of our regular writers, Kurt Storms. He's a current Belgian military diver, also an explorer and a tech instructor. And this is a dive on the wreck called the MT Haven. It was a huge 330 meter long crude oil carrier that sank. It actually caught fire while it was offloading oil and exploded off Genoa in Italy. It spilled 50,000 tons of crude oil in the Mediterranean. It was the largest, oil spill there ever.
I remember the news articles like it was yesterday.
Yeah. So, and it's also the largest shipwreck in the Med. Again, 334 meters long. So this is a report from Kurt on the shipwreck. Yeah, it's a good one.
Nice.
And then finally, we're talking, we have a story called The Dumbest Thing I've Done While Diving by Kyle Borland. If we listen to our human factors coach, Gareth Locke, he will tell you that we will all do something dumb underwater. It's in our DNA.
Yes.
I'm sure you're nodding, and we can all nod. Oh my God, I can't believe I did that, right?
Yes.
So, and the trick is, of course, having a system so that you don't die when you do make a hyperbaric boo-boo. You don't pay the ultimate price for it. And also that we have a just culture, a culture where we can share our mistakes and dumb things and all learn from them. So that's what Kyle has done. He shared this story, how he basically got lured in a way, into making a solo cave dive when he wasn't even a cave diver. And anyway, it was a frightening experience, and he talks about it. So,
funnily enough, the dumbest thing I've ever done is close to those lines.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know, right? Well, I'm reminded of the Wes Skiles thing. So at age 13, he made they said, don't go in the cave. They handed him a camera to try a camera. And the first thing he did was go in the cave and take a picture. Yeah. So anyway, I do want to move on to our questions. Before we do, we also have a news section. Of course, the big news this month was the passing of pioneer Tom Mount, the president of INTD, International Association of Nitrox and Technical Divers. One of our true pioneers, was around from the very beginning of tech diving. In fact, INTD had the first mixed classes, the first agency mixed classes were from INTD. So we have an item on that, and we're going to be doing a follow-up story next month. So I do want to mention that news. So back to our questions. What are the top 3 factors? This came out of a study actually by Peter Buzikoff, who is the Dan Research Director, is now back in Australia. The top 3 factors, risk factors in diving incidents are panic, anxiety, and stress. Right, those 3 things can layer a whole layer of hurt on whatever else is happening, right? And in fact, in surveys, as many as a quarter to more than a half of all divers have experienced a panic or near panic event during their diving. So it's something relevant to everybody. Tech divers probably less likely to have panic events or near panic, but they may have students or colleagues. So
probably good that tech divers don't panic, given the depths.
It definitely is, yes. And you can't go to the surface right away. So anyway, we have clinical psychologist and scuba instructor Laura Walton has done this piece. Her group Fitness to Dive. And so she goes into the causes and kind of mechanisms behind panic. Talks about, for example, trying to avoid panic is going to lead to panic. And you say, I'm not going to panic. Nope, I'm not going to panic. I'm not. You're doomed already, right? And then she talks about some of the remedies for dealing with dive stress and panic. So it's a really interesting article. So I think people will enjoy it and find it useful. And we also have a panic survey with it. So whether you've had a panic experience, or maybe as an instructor, one of your students has, or a colleague, dive buddy, we urge you to fill out the survey so we can get some good data, and then we'll be reporting on that in the coming months. That's the issue, February issue, coming out this Thursday, 2 days from now, and
2 days from the time of recording.
Exactly. That's what I meant to say.
And where can people find this issue?
Yes, you can go to indepth.blog or gue.com/blog. And it will be there waiting for you. So urge you to check it out, and urge you to subscribe. If you're not, that'll get you an email every week with new stories in your inbox. So, yeah.
You can find all of the videos that from Wes Skiles that Michael was referring to at the top of the show in the description below. Please do be sure to like the video, share the video with anyone who you think may be interested, subscribe to the channel, tickle the notification bell so you know whenever we've got a new piece of content coming up. It's pretty much every Monday, though. Just stay tuned to the channel for that. And yeah, Michael, thank you once again for bringing us this awesome. I know you worked hard on this one. This one's been a difficult one. But we will see you just before the next issue releases. So, guys, stay safe, keep diving, and we'll see you all very soon. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.